The Amazing Race Australia 9 Celebrity Edition brought fans another intense and hilarious leg in episode 10, taking the teams all the way to Taipei, the bustling capital of Taiwan. Right from the start, the episode made it clear that this leg would test both brains and bravery, featuring tricky tasks, cultural surprises, and a whole lot of confusion that had fans laughing out loud. As the teams landed in Taipei, their first challenge was simple in theory: make it to NTU Hospital Station via the metro. While most teams quickly figured out the local train system, Gretel and Epiphany struggled with finding the right platform, showing early signs that this leg would not be easy for them. The city's busy metro system immediately added tension as every minute counted, and getting lost even slightly meant losing precious time against the other 4 teams. Once at NTU Hospital Station, teams found their next clue, which revealed a roadblock called "Who Never Puts a Foot Wrong?" This task was something nobody had seen before on the show. Teams had to walk barefoot across a 15-meter stony reflexology path, all while carrying their backpacks, and then correctly answer a reflexology question. At the end of the path, a local expert would ask them, "Where here is my heart?" Teams had to point to the correct spot on the foot to receive their next clue. Georgie was the first to attempt the reflexology path, followed closely by her partner Bernie. But as soon as Georgie reached the end and faced the expert, she completely misunderstood the question. She thought the woman was speaking in Taiwanese, not English, and in a moment that left viewers in stitches, Georgie kissed the woman's toe out of sheer confusion. Bernie wasn't any better. He asked if he could touch the expert's feet, and neither of them had any clue what they were doing wrong. They had to go all the way back to the start without progress, which perfectly illustrated just how tricky this task was. Luke also struggled at the beginning. Reaching the end of the path, he showed the lady his own feet, thinking that might help, but quickly realized he was missing something. Meanwhile, Gretel caught up with him, and soon all teams were on the stone path, wobbling and struggling to understand the instructions. The tension, frustration, and confusion made for one of the funniest roadblocks in Amazing Race history. It was Scott who finally cracked the task. He realized that the teams needed a foot map to find the exact spot where the heart was located. Using this map, he accurately pointed to the right location and received the next clue, which revealed the next big twist: a face-off. Aisha and Scott got the first clue, giving them a small lead in this critical part of the race. The face-off in this episode was also a first for TAR Australia. TET teams would compete in H8O, an augmented reality dodgeball game. The team with the most points would win, while the losing team would face a 5-minute penalty in the sin bin. This challenge was not only competitive, but also fun to watch, blending modern technology with physical skill. Georgie and Bernie eventually understood they had to use the foot map too, finally completing the roadblock. Luke, after a few attempts, also figured it out. Gretel, who had been struggling the entire time, eventually spotted the map and successfully completed the task. This part of the episode was a perfect example of patience observation, and persistence paying off. The face-off itself quickly separated the teams. Aisha and Scott took on Rob and Georgie first, winning the round. Rob and Georgie then faced Steve and Bernie, coming out victorious again, while Luke and Sassy Scott beat Steve and Bernie by the slimmest of margins. The last team to finish was Gretel and Epiphany, who were sent to the sin bin for a brief 5-minute penalty, adding more drama to their already stressful leg. With the face-off done, the teams moved on to the Detours Sing It or Shake It. Each option had a distinct cultural twist reflecting Taiwanese traditions and modern pop culture. In Sing It, teams had to dress in traditional historical outfits and sing a Taiwanese folk song at a karaoke bar. Shake It, on the other hand, had teams learning and performing a K-pop choreography routine, giving a modern, energetic contrast. Aisha and Scott chose Shake It, while Rob and Georgie and Luke and Sassy Scott opted for Sing It. Steve and Bernie also went with the singing option. Gretel and Epiphany, because Gretel was feeling sick, had no choice but to take on the dancing challenge. The detour brought laughs, frustration, and more opportunities for the teams to shine or stumble. On their first attempts, both Aisha and Scott, as well as Rob and Georgie, struggled. Even Luke and Sassy Scott failed their initial attempts, highlighting that the tasks were not as simple as they looked. However, persistence paid off. Rob and Georgie practiced a bit more and succeeded on their second try. Steve and Bernie nailed it on their first attempt, earning them a significant advantage. Aisha and Scott got the thumbs up on their second dance attempt, showing determination and teamwork. After the detour, the teams were given their next clue directing them to the pit stop at Taipei Cinema Park. There, they were greeted by Bo and Yubi Chan, an AI created in Taiwan, blending technology and tradition in a unique way. The pit stop sequence determined the leg standings and set the stage for the next exciting episode. Rob and Georgie were the first to step on the mat, making them Team T1 for the leg. Bo immediately handed them the clue to start the next leg, giving them a small lead going forward. Steve and Bernie came in second, followed by Aisha and Scott in third place. Gretel and Epiphany, after completing the detour on their fourth attempt, and Luke and Sassy Scott, after 7 tries, finally earned the thumbs up. Luke and Sassy Scott finished as Team T4, leaving Gretel and Epiphany last. Thankfully for them, this was a non-elimination leg, giving them another chance to continue in the race despite all the struggles. Episode 10 of The Amazing Race Australia 9 was a strong, entertaining leg. The roadblock, in particular, deserves praise for being one of the most hilariously confusing and innovative tasks in recent TAR history. Watching Georgie kiss the expert's toe was priceless, and the task's design forced teams to repeatedly traverse the stony path, creating suspense and tension. It wasn't just about physical endurance. It required observation, patience, and quick thinking. The introduction of the face-off also added a fresh, exciting element. Using augmented reality in H8O was clever and a great way to mix traditional gameplay with modern tech. Though the 5-minute sin bin penalty might have seemed harsh, It added real stakes and gave the episode a dramatic edge. It was also fun to see how strategy and skill both played a role in this task. The Detour perfectly reflected the duality of Taiwan's culture. Sing it honored traditional Taiwanese music and customs, while Shake it showcased the global phenomenon of K-pop and modern dance culture. Both challenges were entertaining and tested different skills. Watching the teams flounder, practice, and eventually succeed highlighted the importance of teamwork, persistence, and adaptability in the amazing race. Overall, this leg in Taipei stood out for its creativity, humor, and cultural representation. The mix of traditional reflexology, modern AR gaming, folk singing, and K-pop dancing made it memorable for viewers. Fans also got a glimpse of Taiwan beyond the usual tourist spots, showing local culture, music, and technology in action. The episode struck a balance between laughter and tension, making it one of the standout episodes of the season. From the chaotic reflexology path to the fast-paced face-off and the cultural detour, Episode 10 reminded fans why the amazing race is so thrilling. It's unpredictable, challenging, and endlessly entertaining. Taipei provided the perfect backdrop for this mix of fun, frustration, and teamwork. Gretel and Epiphany's struggles added tension and sympathy, while the other team's clever strategies and persistence highlighted the competitive spirit of the race. By the end of the leg, fans were left laughing, cheering, and anticipating what the next challenges would bring. Whether it's the hilarity of misinterpreting a task, the excitement of a head-to-head AR battle, or the pressure of performing in front of locals, this episode delivered everything TAR fans love. Taipei, with its mix of old and new, tradition and technology, proved to be a playground for the teams and a delight for viewers at home. If anything, Episode 10 reinforced that the amazing race isn't just about speed. It's about intelligence, observation, strategy, and adaptability. Teams that stay calm under pressure and pay attention to details, like Scott and Aisha, have a real advantage. But even teams that struggle can recover, as seen with Gretel and Epiphany, reminding fans that anything can happen in this unpredictable adventure. As the teams leave Taipei and head toward the next unknown destination, viewers are left eager to see how the dynamics will shift, who will rise to the challenge, and who might falter under the pressure. Episode 10 has set the bar high, blending cultural immersion, humor, and thrilling competition, and promises that the rest of the season will be just as exciting. All in all, Episode 10 of The Amazing Race Australia 9 was a roller coaster of emotions, hilarious moments, intense competition, and clever challenges that kept both teams and viewers on their toes. With a mix of traditional Taiwanese culture, modern AR games, and K-pop energy, this leg was one of the most memorable and entertaining so far. Taipei delivered, and the teams gave it their all, leaving fans laughing, cheering, and excited for what's next.